Is there anything better than watching a Disney movie? We didn't think so. Many of us grew up on Disney, which is why we're super excited to feast our eyes on the latest live-action remakes. Although it's hard to believe, some of these remakes are even better than the original films. Let's take a look at the 10 best changes in Disney's live-action history. Watch until the end to find out why Disney's The Lion King is set to surpass our wildest expectations.
While some are born to feast, others spend their lives in the dark.
101 Dalmatians. You might think that Disney's live-action remakes are a pretty new thing, but they actually started making them back in the 90s. And one of the first was 101 Dalmatians. The original animated version was released way back in 1961. It's a classic, but it can be a little dated. Roger and his dog Pongo live in London. They meet Anita and her dog Perdita. The humans fall in love with each other, and so do the dogs. The dogs have a litter of Dalmatian puppies, and then a woman named Cruella de Vil wants to take them. She wants a fur coat made of Dalmatian fur. Can you say creepy? She soon kidnaps the pups and puts her plans into motion. When the puppies get rescued, they come home with even more Dalmatians than before. In 1996, Disney released a live-action version. It was pretty great. The acting was amazing, and the legendary Glenn Close played Cruella de Vil. She was perfection. Casting Glenn as Cruella was the best thing Disney could have done. They also spent way more time on Cruella's story by giving her more of a background.
If we make this coat, it would be as if I were wearing your dog.
She was able to appear even more wicked.
Woof, woof.
Alice in Wonderland. In 2010, they decided to tackle another classic Disney movie. Disney hired Tim Burton to direct Alice in Wonderland, and this film was awesome. The original movie came out way back in 1951. That is older than some of your grandparents. Alice is a bored little girl. She follows a rabbit wearing a pocket watch and falls into Wonderland. She experiences all sorts of crazy things. There are potions that make her shrink and others that make her grow. She meets the Mad Hatter and has a tea party with talking animals, and she becomes the enemy of the Wicked Queen of Hearts. The whole movie is pretty random and very peculiar. Disney took it to a whole new direction in 2010. Tim Burton is known for directing some really dark films, and he turned Alice in Wonderland into a really creepy movie, but the sets and costumes were gorgeous. Burton cast Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter, of course. But the best change was in the truth about Wonderland. Alice had visited the magical land first as a naive little girl, but this world is not a happy place. It turns out it was really called Underworld. So creepy. Maleficent. Disney decided to keep up this dark streak with their next live-action remake, and this time they decided to tell a classic story from a whole new point of view. Sleeping Beauty is a classic Disney princess movie. It was released in 1959. Princess Aurora is being blessed by fairies at her christening, but Maleficent, the mistress of all evil, shows up. She is offended that she wasn't invited to Aurora's party, so she decides to curse the princess. She casts a spell that will end her life when she turns 16 and pricks her finger. One of the good fairies changes the curse so that Aurora will fall into a long sleep instead. Aurora gets saved by Prince Philip, who defeats Maleficent. But it all seems so random. Why does this lady want to cause Aurora pain and suffering? You don't go around cursing people when they don't invite you to things. Disney decided to fix this plot hole in 2014. They released Maleficent, and it is all about Maleficent's side of the story. We learn why she became evil. She had been trying to save her people, the fairies, but the humans were cruel and massacred them. She curses Aurora in revenge. It's a great film starring Angelina Jolie, and we were so glad we found out the truth about Maleficent.
It seems we have time on our hands.
But I was only trying to—
Silence!
Cinderella. The next movie that Disney decided to modernize is Cinderella. The original movie was released in 1950. You know the story. Cinderella has a wicked stepmother and stepsisters. They won't let her go to the ball. Her fairy godmother dresses her up, and the prince falls madly in love with her after one dance. She loses her glass slipper, and the prince sends his men to scout the city until they find her. When Cinderella is finally found, the prince marries her, and they all live happily ever after. But no one falls in love after one dance, Cinderella has been criticized for its unlikelihood and male-focused plot. Disney fixed this in 2015. There are a lot of great changes in this movie. We get to see Ella's relationship with her mother and father before they pass away, and she meets the prince before the ball. They don't know who the other really is, but they learn a lot about each other in this time. It's a good foundation for a relationship. The other great change is the fairy godmother. Helena Bonham Carter adds a goofy spin to the classic character, and don't forget that the movie taught us to be kind and have courage. The Jungle Book. The Jungle Book came out in 1967. It was the last movie to be directly approved by Walt Disney himself. This movie followed Mowgli, a boy who was raised in the jungle by wolves. But soon, Mowgli is targeted by Shere Khan, a man-eating tiger.
How interesting.
The panther who saved Mowgli tries to get him to live with humans for his own safety, but Mowgli doesn't want to. He runs off and encounters all sorts of dangers in the jungle. He befriends Baloo the bear, who helps protect him. Eventually, he decides to move into the village after seeing a pretty girl his age. In 2016, Disney made a live-action version of The Jungle Book, and it was epic. The cinematography was amazing, and the CGI animals were so realistic. The plot was more or less the same for most of the movie, but the best change was the ending. Mowgli's entire life was in the jungle. The wolves, the panther, and Baloo are his family. In the live-action movie, he defeats Shere Khan, and he decides to stay with his family in the jungle. It got us right in the feels. We loved all the changes in this version.
Ma chère mademoiselle, it is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we welcome you tonight.
Beauty and the Beast. Disney remade a bunch of the classic era films before diving into the Disney Renaissance, but in 2017, they decided to remake some of the more modern animated movies. They started with Beauty and the Beast. The 1991 version was a classic. Belle is unhappy in her village. Belle and her dad are total outcasts. She saves her father by sacrificing herself to the Beast to a nearby enchanted castle. All of the castle's staff have been turned into household objects. The music is amazing, and Belle is a much more powerful heroine than the princesses who came before her. But it always left us with a lot of questions. Why is it winter in the nearby castle? Why do none of the villagers know that a prince lives a few hours away? The 2017 version answered all of these questions. The enchantress who cursed the prince made the villagers forget all about the castle, and she also cast a spell that caused the kingdom to be stuck in a state of perpetual winter. But one of the best changes in the live-action remake was Belle's personality. She's a lot more of a go-getter. She still loves books, but she's also an inventor. She even invents a laundry machine at the beginning of the film. She also takes her fate into her own hands and tries to escape right away. It's pretty clear that after the first night, she is no longer a prisoner. We loved Belle's modern upgrade. Christopher Robin. Our next live-action Disney movie isn't a remake of just one film, but it does give us a whole new look into the world of Winnie the Pooh. Disney has made a lot of Winnie the Pooh stories. There have been several movies and TV shows. Some are really popular, like the Tigger movie, and they are all a little different, but they all feature the same lovable stuffed animals who live in the 100-acre wood. These characters are based on a real boy named Christopher Robin and his lively stuffed animals. In 2018, Disney released Christopher Robin. We get to see Christopher Robin and his pals as kids, but the boy is forced to grow up too fast. As an adult, he is not really happy with his life. But then his childhood stuffed bear shows up, and he can talk. Christopher reunites with his old toys. He masters what it means to be a kid again. He learns what is really important in life, like his family. Christopher turns his life around with the help of Pooh and the gang. It's adorable, and it will hit kids and adults right in the feels. We just love that Disney decided to show us a grown-up Christopher Robin. Dumbo. The original Dumbo is the fourth Disney animated movie to ever be created. It was released in 1941. The movie is about a circus elephant named Dumbo, who has huge ears, and he can fly. He gets separated from his mom as a baby, but with the help of a mouse, he becomes a star. Eventually, he is reunited with his mom, but they get their own act. It's a total tearjerker, but it's a classic nonetheless. Dumbo was remade into a live-action film and released in 2019. This movie is still pretty new, so if you you haven't seen it, skip ahead because spoilers are coming up quick. Anyway, the live-action film is very different from the original, but these changes were all super necessary. In the last few decades, circuses have been criticized for animal cruelty, and the movie didn't shy away from the truth. One of the best changes was the addition of two new characters, Millie and Joe, who happen to be the children of Dumbo's caretaker. They go out of their way to help Dumbo reunite with his mom, but the best change is the end. Dumbo and his mother are reunited, and they get to live with the other elephants in the wild. We love this ending so much. Aladdin. It looks like 2019 is the year of live-action Disney remakes, and we aren't complaining. The original Aladdin came out in 1992. It's about an orphan boy who finds a magic lamp. He gets a genie who helps him become a rich prince. This helps him win the hand of Princess Jasmine.
Him. I choose you.
He defeats the evil Jafar and lives happily ever after. The new movie looks pretty similar to the original, but the real sets and costumes are amazing. We're pretty bummed that Robin Williams is no longer around to play the genie, but we're confident that Will Smith will do a great job. There's one major change we are really excited about, and it has to do with Princess Jasmine. She's not just a girl who sits alone waiting to be married off. She is a political force who stands up to her dad, the Sultan, and she has a handmaiden who is also her best friend. They support each other no matter what. We're so happy to see that Princess Jasmine has a human friend in the live-action movie. No offense, Raja. The Lion King. Okay, we're using the term live action a little loosely here, but a brand new CGI version of The Lion King is coming out in July of 2019, and we cannot wait. The original version of The Lion King is one of the most successful movies of all time. The 1994 movie was about Simba, a young lion cub. He is the son of the king Mufasa. But Mufasa is betrayed by his evil brother Scar, which results in him losing his life. Young Simba is forced to run away into the jungle. He is raised by Timon and Pumbaa. His childhood friend Nala finds him and brings him home. He defeats Scar and becomes king. It's an epic movie with an amazing soundtrack. The movie looks like it will have pretty much the same plot, but we are so excited about some of the new cast members. Seth Rogen is playing Pumbaa. He will be perfect for the goofy warthog. Donald Glover is voicing Simba, and Elton John and Tim Rice are writing a brand new song for the movie. We cannot wait to see the new version of The Lion King. What Disney movie do you want to see as the next live-action remake? Tell us in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you love all things Disney, be sure to subscribe to The Things, and don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. We'll catch you next time.